JRTV is back with the NASCAR Next Hill Cup Series 2004 season, and for the fourth race of the season, we head to the Rockingham Speedway in North Carolina for the running of the Subway 400. I'm Joe Rakowski, alongside me in the booth. It is Trey Bardo, and Trey, after 3 straight races of high speed, long racetrack races where we see draft become more of a premium rather than a good race car. For the first time this season, Trey, we're going to be heading to a driver's racetrack, this 1 mile worn out racetrack in North Carolina. What do you expect to see? We've seen Fords win the first 3 races of the season. Will Ford be able to continue that trend here today, or will the other manufacturers rise up now that we've gone to a different type of racetrack?
I think we're going to have a little bit of a different scenario here, Joe. This is a track, like you said, where the car has to be in the shape. The driver has to know how to drive the car that they're in at that moment. So it's going to be more not based on luck like we had at the drafting tracks, but more based on skill and what you brought to the track here today.
And recently at Rockingham, there's been one team that has had the equipment and the drivers to get it done no matter when they come, and that's Roush Racing. Their 5 cars have been extremely good here over the past few years, and if you don't believe me, just look at the stats. In 2001, they swept both Rockingham races. In 2002, they won the spring race, and then in 2003, they swept both races again. So trained the last 6 Rockingham races, Roush Racing has 5 victories. The only non-Roush driver to win at Rockingham the past 6 races, the guy who starts on pole, Matt Wells, who dominated the race, he won in. So Trey, Roush Racing, they have a little bit of an edge over the competition. They've won the last 2 Rockingham races. The problem, Trey, they're not really starting all that well here today. Jay Reno, their highest starter, in 6th. Then Jordan Stout is in 11th. Then the other 3 are further back. Richardson's just outside the top 20. Right behind him is Zachary DeLello. Their teammate Tyler Belladonna at the back of the field because of inspection failures. But Trey, can Roush Racing, they won the first 2 races of the season with Jay Brando. Can they get back to victory lane at Rockingham, or is it going to be a little bit harder with their track position starting?
Yeah, it might be, in all honesty, a little hard just because I feel like there's not that much passing here, especially near the front. So we're going to have to see if they can overcome that, or if not, what are they going to do to kind of, minimize anything that could come about?
Yeah, we're going to have to see. Mathis Wells, as mentioned, a previous winner here, starts on pole, so it could be hard to get by him. Justin Zeidel, still looking for that first victory since 2000, is up here starting outside pole position. Jerry Chen in the 24, making his first ever start here at the Rockingham Speedway and trying to get Hendrick Motorsports back to victory lane here. They won it in 2000, this race, with Keegan Thompson. Roberto Crown Jr. having a solid qualifying result in the top 5, and same with Tim Gary. So a lot of big names up at the front, a lot of good stories as well. You see Priya McShane up inside the top 10 for Michael Waltrip Racing. Max Davis for the Wood Brothers up inside the top 10 in 10th position. Hunter Reed's inside the top 15, the other Petty Enterprises car. So we'll have to see how these guys perform here today at the Rockingham Speedway. We'll take a look at some of the track facts and the weather here today. It's a beautiful day. It's in the 60s, so it's a little bit cooler, but pretty good for a March day in North Carolina. And this racetrack, very, very unique. As we mentioned, it's 1 mile in length. In fact, 1.017 miles. It's very, very different. That's a 1.637 kilometers. It's a 79 lap race. That's just over 80 miles. The fuel window is something big to watch out for. They can go 43 to 47 laps in a tank of fuel. However, the tire fall off is extreme. After about 40 laps, there'll be 3 seconds of tire fall off. So by the end of a run, they could be looking at 3.5 seconds to fall off, depending on how far they go on the tires. There's 22 degrees of banking in turns 1 and 2, and 25 degrees in turns 3 and 4, only 8 degrees on the straightaway. So as mentioned, very unique racetrack, a lot of different characteristics. That's why it's hard for a driver to drive here, hard for a crew to set the car up, because you might get one set of the corners right, but the other set of corners might not be good as well. And the 8 drivers that have missed here today, the Subway 400 at Rockingham: Henry Guo in the 0, John Barrymore, who was in the number 14 until he failed inspection, dropped him out, put Matt Tuck in the 23. Also missing David Dixon in the 39, Nathan Orman, Colin Teague still looking for his first start of the season. It won't come here today. Marcus Lerb, Teagan Fox, and the biggest story, Hendrick Motorsports' Drew Webb missed his first race of the season. He was inside the top 15 in points, so it's looking like he will probably be for sure a lock for the top 35 and owners points after next race out at Atlanta, but definitely would have wanted to make the race and keep that points position as high as possible, because he could have been a contender for the championship, still could be, but this is definitely a big hole for Drew to climb out of after missing the race here today at Rockingham. We'll go down trackside, fire the cars up for the Subway 400, the 4th race of the 2004 season here at the Rockingham Speedway.
Drivers, start your engines.
42 cars coming off pit road for a quick pace lap here at Rockingham. So let's quickly get to our picks, and your pick to win starting third place, Jerry Chen. Why do you think this Hendrick driver will get his first victory of the season here today?
I think that him and HMS need some sort of spark to the season. If he can get a good start here on the green flag, I think he can make a move to the inside and take the lead and just take control from there.
Just a few rows behind him is my pick to win, the number 1 of Anthony Hernandez. He has not won since 2002 at Richmond. However, this team has shown speed at Rockingham in the past. He has a good starting spot on the inside row inside the top 10. That's normally around where drivers win this race. I think Anthony Hernandez gets back to victory lane for just his second career victory in the Nextel Cup Series. At the front, some drivers that have won races in the past. Mathis Wells, many wins. Justin Zeidel has not won since 2001, multiple races that season. The leads to the green flag, and the Subway 400 at Rockingham were underway from North Carolina. Well, Trey, how about your pick, Jerry Chen, making the move to the inside off turn number 2. And Jerry Chen's going to lead the first lap of the Subway 400 here at Rockingham. Tim Gary moving through for second place. Mathis Wells from pole didn't get the best of starts, Trey. Went up high through turns 1 and 2 and slipped back. He's now on the outside going back to third. Jay Randall from the outside finds his way in line to 97. Randall's up to 4th. Zeidel's going to get in line 5th, and Crown Jr. in line in 6th. Mathis Wells has a line of cars, Trey, lined up to his outside and nowhere to go to get down in line for now.
You mean to tell me there's already a Roush on the inside line?
There's 2 of them. Look at Jordan Stout back there, who started in 11th place, is up inside the top 10, trying to move by Anthony Hernandez in the number 1. Priya McShane got kicked to the high side. She's driving back, might be able to get down in front of Nathan Stapleton. Kugelman behind her is fading back as well. Up inside the top 10, Hunter Reed for Petty Enterprises. His teammate Crown Jr. not too far up the road is up inside the top 5 as Mathis Wells continues to slip back from pole position. Wells still falling. Here comes Stout to the inside for Hernandez. Up at the front still Chen leading Frederick Motorsports. Tim Gary for MB2 is in second. Jay Reno for Roush is third. And then 4th place is Zeidel, 3 wide further back. Chris Jericho's in the middle of that. Matt Tuck was the one, the 23, all the way down to the bottom lane.
Now, with how this track runs, Joe, if you're going to be one in the front here with everyone single file, you kind of want to save your stuff because the fall-offs here is so large on these long runs. And honestly, I don't think I'm expecting a lot of cautions here today. So managing your tires and managing your race here is going to be the big key to finishing and winning this race.
One of the interesting things about the tire fall off here at Rockingham is it doesn't hit immediately. We say, 3 seconds of fall off, but these first 5 laps, Trey, these speeds are still ramping up. It's only about now where we're starting to see the speeds really start to kind of fall back off and start to fall off and start losing a 10th or 2 here and there. But by lap number 15, Trey, we're going to see about half a second of fall off. Then lap 20, we're going to see a second, and then every 5 laps is going to continue to fall half a second at a time. So right now, Trey, they've run some of their fastest laps of the race, but now they're going to start to fade back and start falling a little bit, and that's where we might see some movement through the field. At the beginning, it's a little bit harder to make it work because everyone's kind of running the same speed around the racetrack. Once you get tire fall off, that's where you have some lap time variety, and that's where you start to see passes being made.
Yeah, and the biggest keys to this race is the driver himself, man, tires. But the even bigger thing is whenever we do come to pit road time is that if your crew can, really stay on top of it and not make any mistakes.
And what the strategy is going to be when you come down pit road, because if you come down earlier, maybe you get the tires on sooner and you get a nice run up through some drivers and you pass some guys because you put on the tires sooner, running faster lap times than guys who are out there in older tires. So that's something to watch out for. But you also have to be worried if you put on tires sooner, and if you put them on too soon, if you start to run into traffic and you start slowing down because, well, you don't want to run over the guys in the old tires around you.
Yeah, definitely. And Joe, I mean, we're only 9 laps into this thing. We're already talking about pit stops. That just shows how big it is. But we still have quite a few laps to even get there. So again, keeping your car clean and kind of getting in position to where you can benefit off that is going to be the biggest thing in this first half.
Here's Sarah Kirchner moving her way up through the field in the number 33. She's just passed Roberto Crown Jr., who's dropped outside of the top 10. Kirchner now 11th. DeLello's up to 12th. Winner of the last time we were here at Rockingham. Up in front, Lathan Strickland is looking out on Anthony Hernandez. Behind them, here comes Keyshawn Richardson in the number 99. Evan Hunter is with him. Hunter trying to get another good result in a spring race here at the Rockingham Speedway. Hunter finished second here in 2002 in the spring race and then 6th last season in the spring race. So he knows how to get it done. Jacob Miller in the number 9 is moving up by Crown Jr. Had a good run in practice, not so good in qualifying, but is working his way through the field nice. And how about this, Trey? Joe Staub's making his first point start in a NASCAR Next Cup Series car for Competitive Edge Motorsports, owned by Sarah Kirchner. And Staub's, for his first start, Trey, is up right now in 17th place, just passing Roger Crown Jr. What a run for this rookie.
Yeah, it's definitely making it worth it. I'll be interested to see where he can finish out here and what he does. I mean, right now he looks like he has a strong car, but the long run is going to be where it really shows what he's got.
And right behind him, one of the strongest drivers we've seen at Rockingham over the past few seasons, Riley Spurley-Tube, in car number 28, can actually look for that pass into turn number 1. And Trey, how about this? The last 4 finishes at Rockingham for Riley Spurley-Tube, 9th, 5th, 4th, and 2nd. That's an average finish of 5th in the last 4 races here. So Riley Spurley-Tube knows how to get it done here. He's not yet found victory lane at this racetrack. However, you have to think it's only a matter of time with how strong he's been.
Yeah, with that, it looks like it keeps moving up and up and up, and he's only got one spot left to go up, and that's first. But Joe, he's going to have a long day ahead of him if he wants to get up to first place, because that's a lot of cars he's got to pass. Some
crazy battling they has to get through as well. I mean, look at this. Evan Hunter's moving out for some passes. Pre-Make Shane up in front. There were passing as well, but Riley Spurley-Tube, he was a few car lengths behind that number 9 entering into turn number 3, but he really closed in. So this number 28 looks pretty sporty. His teammate Luke Rainey won the last race out at Texas World, so Robert Yates Racing looking for yet another win here in 2004. As you can see, Luke Rainey getting by Nathan Steelton, bringing Chris Jericho with them. That's right now they're about middle of the field. Meanwhile, Tyler Belladonna, who failed inspection, had to start back in 41st place. Belladonna is moved up for the top 20, so a good run for that number 17 car, making way through the field and trying to join his Roush teammates up towards the top 15, top 20. As at the front is still Jerry Chen, leading every lap so far from that 3rd starting spot. But Tim Gary, Jay Rando, Trey have not been able to get too far away. They stayed right with that number 24 of Jerry Chen, not letting him get out there, as we're now, Trey, about half a second to a second off of our fastest lap times here today.
Yeah, these 3 have literally been the same distance apart since the drop of the green flag. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen. Like, none of them have made a single mistake to where they drop anywhere farther back than the 10 and gotten any closer than where Tim Gary's at right now. So, I mean, it's weird, but it's good racing as we're looking 3 wide off of 4. Gotta be careful.
That was Hunter Reed shoving it through the middle as Sarah Kirchner kind of went up the racetrack, but taking advantage to the inside was Keyshawn Richardson. He's going to move his way up inside the top 10. So now you have Stout up inside you have 4 Roush cars now, Trey, up inside the top 10. What we were talking about before the race started, where, it could be harder for them here today, but right now they have 4 of their 5 cars up inside the front 10 positions.
Yeah, that's, honestly, I'm not surprised. If I'm being truthful with you, Joe. Can you really be surprised about that?
You can never be surprised when a Roush car does something good, especially at a racetrack like Rockingham, where they've had so much success over the past few seasons. This man having success right now on the racetrack, passing race cars. Riley Spurley-Tube was just moved by Sarah Kirchner. His teammate Luke Rainey is coming with them as well, but Riley Spurley-Tube, Trey, is up just outside of the top 10 and still moving through some more guys. He's up to 14th place. He has 13th, 12th, and 11th right in front of him. Then you have the top 10, and here he is again, looking low on a driver. Couldn't get to the inside, but behind him, his teammate Luke Rainey is making ground up. Here comes Luke to the inside on Sarah Kirchner, Pre-Make Shane behind them, and here comes Chris Jericho on the 18th, trying to move up some spots. Just got by Jacob Miller for 18th. Tyler Belladonna is looking to get down in front of Joe Staubs, but Staubs wants the top 20 back. Here comes that 51 car.
Yeah, he's definitely kind of hovering at around this position, but he looks like he's got a good car, that 51, to make up a little bit of spots here. So we'll have to see if he can continue going forward. But we're looking again at a side-by-side, Joe, with your pick of Hernandez as well as at 99. Another Roush slowly making his way farther into this top 10.
Yeah, Keyshawn Richardson is feast or famine here at the Rockingham Speedway. He has some good results here. He led 35 laps here in the last time we were here in the fall race. However, he didn't find a way to victory lane. That was his teammate Zachary DeLello, but he also has 3 top 5s, but 3 finishes at 25th or worse here at the Rockingham Speedway. So it could either be very, very good for him or very, very bad for him. Right now it's looking like it could be a good day. He's up inside the top 10 in 9th place. These front 3 still the same distance apart. Jerry Chen, Tim Gary, and Jay Reno, about 0.2 of a second separate them. Then you have a second back to Justin Zeidel in the 2. Mathis Wells, the pole sitter, is back in 5th, and Lathan Strickland is up to 6th. He started around 15th place. Jordan Stout is now 7th, with DeLello 8th, Richardson 9th, and then Sebastian Kukulon has not won in about a year. He's up inside the top 10. There's number 29 car making waves through the field, and behind them, Anthony Hernandez and Sarah Kirchner are falling. Pre McShane, Chris Jericho are moving. They go down to the inside, and 0018 get by them. Riley Spurley and Hunter Reed disposed of Evan Hunter. They move to 11th and 12th. And there's Chris Jericho by Hernandez. Sarah Kirchner dives low. This number 1 car not faring well on the long run. He fired off pretty well, but on the long run, Trey, he's really suffered here in that number 1 car.
So this top 3, who do you think's pushing the most? Is it the 24 who is, out front trying to stay in front of these guys? Is it Tim Gary who's trying to stay with the 24 but at the same time not get passed by that 97? Or is it the 97 who's just trying to stay with these front 2?
Or are they all running the same? Yeah, that's a question, and I don't know if we'll necessarily know the answer to that, Trey, until we get later into this run or until we get after pit stops, where then everyone might start pushing very hard. But at the moment, it's really hard to say, isn't it? Because they're all running kind of the same.
Oh, that was close contact there between, wasn't it?
Yeah, teammates between the 6 and the 16. George Stout, Zach DeLello nearly came together off turn number 2. Luckily, they didn't. Luckily, they kept it going straight. And that was Leighton Strickland passing Mathis Wells for 5th place. The home improvement stores were going at it. And meanwhile, the 6 and the 16 were looking to try and pick up the scraps of that battle, but couldn't get it done. They almost made contact with each other. Instead, they're going to stay in 7th and 8th for now, but close right up onto the back bumper of Mathis Wells for 6th place. So Mathis Wells, Trey, I really thought, with him starting on pole, he was going to be a force to be reckoned with for this race victory. But right now, he's just not looking like it.
No, definitely not. And it's strange, but again, we'll have to see how stuff develops here as Strickland again making another move on that 2 right there. He's going to get around him. Former teammates there.
Yeah, former teammates, just first season, but Strickland gets by Zeidel. Zeidel kind of didn't really put up the fight. I think he knew, hey, the tires are very worn out, and I just want to kind of fall back here, ride around. We're about 2 seconds off the pace now of what these guys have run for their fast laps. Is up at front, battle for a second. Jay Randall's had enough of Tim Gary's going to move him aside, and car number 97, Trey, remember, he lost the points lead last race at Texas World, but he won the first 2 races of the season. Could he make it 3 for 4 here today at Rockingham? He's up to 2nd place and chasing down our race leader, Jerry Chen.
So we're going to see if, my question here, we're going to see if that 97 really was saving the entire time or if he was kind of pushing it. But right now, Joe, he is absolutely getting to the back of this 24 really fast here. So we'll have to see if Chen has anything for him.
He really closed in right there through turns 1 and 2. And Tim Gary's kind of fallen off with the front 2. So maybe, Trey, to your point, maybe Tim Gary's pushing the hardest. Jay Rando was maybe pushing the less. And Jerry Chen was somewhere in the middle, but right now Jay Rando has one of the faster race cars of the front runners. Maybe the fastest car out here right now, though, is the guy in 4th place, Leighton Strickland. He just got by Mathis Wells, just got by Justin Zeidel, and he's close down the front 3 trays within a second now. He was about a second and a third back just a few laps ago.
I'll be curious to see what his game or his plan of attack is here once he catches up to the back of this 10 car, because is he going to try to stay in line and get these front 4 all together, or if he's going to make a move as quickly as he can and try to catch these front 2 as they're still kind of battling right now. They're kind of back at the stalemate again that they once were.
And here's a great battle for position. Zachary DeLello, Mathis Wells, that's 6th place. DeLello's going to take it. Stout for 7th. 10th place, Hunter Reed just got by Sebastian Kukulon, bringing Riley Spurley to the inside in the number 28 as well. Then you have Luke Rainey right behind them. You have Pre McShane there. Chris Jericho is trying to close in with Evan Hunter on the outside of Pre McShane. Sarah Kirchner is there trying to get up inside the top 15. So this is a chaotic battle right here for spots, 7th or 8th or 9th and 10th. I mean, they're all over the place up here. Now the front 4, Trey, they're in that stalemate again.
Yeah, so again, what's going to happen here now that we have a 4th contestant? And at this time, what's it really going to, how's it going to change everything up here? Is these 2 in the middle, they going to, try to think of a different plan, try to get out front sooner than what they were planning originally, or is this 48 going to, well, we know he was fast. Does he have the tires to kind of continue it up here?
I wonder if Leighton Strickland was happy to hear his name get called down to contestants row, Trey.
He might have been.
Well, here he is in 4th place behind Tim Gary, who's behind Jay Rando, who's behind Jerry Chen. At some point, will someone be able to make a move? Can Jerry Chen continue to hold this lead? Tim Gary, I think with the bump to Jay Rando to turn 1, and they're going to battle for 2nd again, and that's going to allow Chen to get a little bit of a lead, but Gary to get back through to 2nd, and that's going to allow Rando to get up, or Rando to fall back, and Leighton Strickland to get up to 3rd place in the number 48 car.
That was a very aggressive move there. I'm a little surprised by that. I didn't think that was going to take place this early on in the race, but I don't think that 97 is going to forget that anytime soon.
No, and I think with how this race has gone, all of these four guys might continue to battle each other all throughout the end of this race, so they might stay near each other like they have been. Mathis Wells has dropped back outside the top 10. He's back to 11th in that big scram that they had right there. Luke Rennie's up to 10th. His teammate Riley Spiritu up to 9th. There's Wells in 11th with his hands full from Sebastian Kukulon in 12th place. Jericho's up to 13th. McShane back to 14th. Hunter Reed's back there, so is Sarah Kirchner and Evan Hunter is back at the front. Riley Spiritu still moving right into the back bumper of Keyshawn Richardson. Zidell's here trying to hold down in 7th place. Up at the front, Tim Gary had 2nd, but not for long. It's a Hendrick 1-2. Strickland's through to 2nd behind his teammate Jerry Chen in the 24. Now, can he make the move on his teammate for the race lead? Something that Rando and Tim Gary have not been able to do all race long.
Yeah, it'll be interesting here. Teammates, are they going to play nice with each other, or are they going to be a little bit aggressive here? So we'll have to see how they're feeling today.
We'll have to see. Lathan Strickland, he's going to pull out and pass. There he goes, down to the inside, Jerry Chen. Hendrick Motorsports dueling for the lead, and this one's going to go the way of car number 48, Lathan Strickland. For the first time today, leads the Subway 400 here at Rockingham. So there goes Strickland, and now still, Hendrick Motorsports led every lap here today. It's just now they've done 2 drivers instead of just 1 out of the 24, and now Trey, we're within 5 laps of pit stops happening.
Yeah, and what's the what do you think the right move is here?
Well, I think, with how close everyone has kind of stayed, no one's been able to get away. Normally we see a few drivers, get away by a few seconds. That's not really happened here today. I have to wonder if drivers like DeLello who's starting to close in, Jordan Stout, can Riley Spurley has been one of the fast cars out here. Can they undercut, get track position with those fresh tires sooner, and then maybe, get the track position, hold on to it for the rest of the race? That's something you have to watch out for these front 10, because they're all within 3 seconds of each other.
Yeah, definitely. So one small mistake can ruin your day completely here. So everyone's got to be on their game here, as we're still got a little bit of battling going on between Keyshawn Richardson and the 2 of Justin Zidell, and that 2's holding strong on the top.
He is, but I think it's a losing battle. There goes Richardson by, and here goes Luke Rainey by as well. As we're within a few laps of pit stops. See, Joe Gibbs Racing drivers are battling right here. Mathis Wells and Chris Jericho, with Wells on the outside fading back from his pole position start. Jericho's going to move by him, who started in the 20th position. They've come together just before pit stops, but not where they want to. They're right now in 11th and 12th out there, with Wells back to 12th, Jericho up to 11th, Zidell's back to 10th, Richardson up to 8th, getting by Zidell with Luke Rennie in 9th. Then you have Riley Spiritu right there. Jordan Stout, DeLello's on the back bumper. Jerry Chen, who's really fallen, Trey, since he lost the lead. This number 24 back to 4th place, and fading back off the front 2 have really gotten away. Lathan Strickland, Jay Rando are the dominant cars right now out in front. But Trey, pit stops are looming around the corner for these front runners and everyone else on the racetrack.
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe this 97 or even the 10 jump in a lap earlier than the 48 if they can time it out right, just to try to see if that undercut can work. But really the one that's running it right now and really controlling this race is that Strickland, that 48, because Joe, I think he's just been the strongest car we've seen. He's able to work through the pack, get up front. Now we'll really see what he has when he's in clean air.
Battle for 4th is on Zachary DeLello moving by Jerry Chen. This is what DeLello did last season here when he won the fall race. He kind of came from nowhere, got to the front at the end of the race and won it. Lathan Strickland, Trey, looks like he's going to pit first. Jay Reynolds not going to come down because cars came down the previous lap. Strickland's in. Jay Reynolds going to stay out another lap. So is Tim Gary. They're going to go for the overcut, but Lathan Strickland is in. He's going to try and get the tires sooner.
So I'll be curious to see how this ends up working for them, and if it's really going to be an advantage, or if that 97 is not really going to lose any time going an extra lap longer here, especially with how congested this pit road's going to be.
You saw some of the drivers who came down. They were kind of towards the back of the field, thinking, hey, we're back already below 35th place, so we might as well try something, pit sooner, try and get track position that way. There's drivers like Max Davis, Skylar Taylor, Benny Lynn that were kind of in that. Max Davis, I think, hit Priya McShane coming off pit road a little bit right there. Luckily, I think it was just a tap, and Davis gets away. There you see Lathan Strickland, great pit stop, gets out and away. Zachary DeLello kind of with them. Anthony Hernandez, he stayed out, I think, another lap in that number 1 car. There he goes. So there's Hernandez. I think he's stayed out.
That's a really long run for him.
Yeah, you could see it already going through the corner, how slow he is. I think he's finally going to come down right there, but trying a very long run, and we'll have to see if it works out for that number 1 car of Anthony Hernandez. At the front, Lathan Strickland should cycle out to the lead because he came down sooner of any of the race leaders. Jay Randall just leaving pit road now. He's going to surrender some spots. Strickland is out in front. DeLello's going to be up to 2nd, and Jay Reynolds are probably going to come out in 4th place. I think Jerry Chen might have enough of a run to get by him as Randall comes up to speed into turns 3 and 4. Chen's going to have to take the long way around, and it might hurt him right here. Randall might keep that 3rd spot.
This is going to be really, you want to keep this 3rd spot, but who's going to be the stronger car? I think the 24 might need to do the smart move here. Just let him concede it. There he goes, and he's going to let that 97 get out front, but at the end of the day, that might be the better move.
Yeah, so save your tires as well as he goes wide through turns 3 and 4, and if he's not careful, he could lose his spot to Jordan Stout. That number 6 is not too far back. Here comes Stout closing in. So the gap for Strickland at the front, 1.8 seconds over Zachary DeLello, 3.5 over Jay Rando, almost 4 over Jerry Chen, and 4 seconds over Jordan Stout. Then you have Riley Spurgeon in 6th, Tim Gary's in 7th. Joe Stobbs came down sooner than anyone, Trey. He's up in 8th place in that number 51, with Richardson in 9th. Zidell had 10th. Luke Rennie's going to take 10th in that number 88, so it moves Zidell back to 11th. Then you have Jericho in 12th. Tyler Belladonna from the back is up to 13th, with Ahmed Walid is in 14th, and Prima McShane inside the top 15. How about Angel Gutierrez inside the top 20? So Trey, those drivers that did the undercut, it's really worked out for them. They moved up inside the top 20 and even some inside the top 10.
Yeah, there is a big shuffle here, but that just shows you how vital that undercut is. So really, Strickland kind of went with the regular cut, and in the 97 went with the overcut, or whatever it's called, the opposite of the undercut.
Yeah, overcut.
Is it called the overcut?
Yeah.
How do you overcut something?
I don't know. I guess you swing and you miss when you try to cut something.
Oh, I guess so. I don't know. That just didn't make a lot of sense to me. Anyways, as Chen is now getting a little bit of pressure from Stout there in the 6th, which we'll have to see what's going to happen there. But again, it's just Roush at Rockingham. They kind of go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly.
Yep. Yeah. Right now they have 3 cars inside the top 5. In fact, it's a Roush and Hendrick top 5. You have 2 Hendrick cars, 3 Roush cars up inside the top 5. Want to give an update on some other drivers. Mathis Wells, who started on poles back in 24th place in that number 20 car. Jude Martinelli, who hasn't really had the best of days, is right now in 27th. Atkins, who failed inspection, is back in 30th, and that number 3 car has not been able to make much progress through the field. Matthew Burnett was slow in qualifying. So right now in the race, you have all the DEI cars down below 30th, with Eli Bryant 32nd, Ryan Wilson 33rd, Hernandez with the overcut down in 37th. Conrad Evans, who won here in 2000, and Keegan Thompson, who won here in 2000, are both down 34th for Evans, 35th for Keegan Thompson. So not a good day if you won here in 2000. Nathan Stipton was running well, is down here. Hunter Reed was running well, he's down here. Bertie Crown Jr. started inside the top 5. Matt Tuck is down here, Skylar Taylor, and Nathan Baird. Every car still out there on the lead lap, but Lathan Strickland leads DeLello by 2 seconds. The gap is growing every lap. Jordan Stout moved to 4th by Jerry Chen. As we had a car stopped, it was the 91 of Ahmed Walid. No caution, I think, at the moment. We're staying green, but Ahmed Walid with an issue tray, some mechanical of sort, and he's now going to be laps down, and he could fall out of the race if it was something major.
That's interesting. I'm surprised that there was no caution for it, but apparently NASCAR felt like he was off the track enough and he was able to get back to pit road.
Yeah, so issue there for the Melling Ultra Motorsports car, that number 91. We'll have to see if it's something that's terminal or if it's something that can get fixed. As you can see right there, you have 3 Roush cars trying to chase down the Hendrick leader, another Hendrick car right there. Then you have Robert Yates Racing's Riley Spurgeon trying to recover after a not-so-good start to the season. Speaking of not-so-good starts to the season, Trey, Jordan Stout this season has not finished better than 30th in a race, and he's down below the top 35 in owners' points. So if he didn't have a good day here today, he could have entered into the next race at Atlanta, which is the final race we're basing off of the 2003 owners' points. He could have had to enter into the next race looking for a good enough run to get up inside the top 35 in owners' points. So a good run here today, Trey, could relieve some of the stress heading into Atlanta next race and make him know that, hey, we're going to be locked in, we'll be just fine. But how interesting would it have been if Jordan Stout was that low in points and had to race his way in for these next few races?
On my favorite part this season, so I would have been truthfully surprised here, but I think he's as long as he can finish out this race here, he can probably feel a lot safer than what he is right now.
Here's a great battle for inside the top 10. This is for the 8th position. Staub's had it. Luke Rennie's going to take it, continuing Ford's dominance on the season. Keyshawn Richardson trying to get by Staub's. That's for 9th. And then Zidell's going to break his way up inside the top 10 with that move right there. So Staub's had a few laps up inside the top 10 with that pit strategy. Obviously the worst tires and maybe a car that's just not as good as the ones around him. He's starting to fade back a little bit, but still nothing to laugh at in your first ever Nextel Cup Series points start. Trey is running inside the top 10 in an underfunded car, and he still has a shot for a top 15, top 20 finish. 91 leaving pit road, so obviously whatever it was, they were able to fix it, but it did have some issues there and kind of cost him.
Gonna be wow, he really pushed Evan Hunter up wide there.
And Hunter might lose some spots. The current points leader, although he got a good enough run to get, I think, probably down in front of Pre-McShane right there, not really lose anything, just kind of get put high. But this 91 is going to have fresher tires compared to everyone around him, so he could easily blow by these guys and kind of hurt some of their battles they're having.
Yeah, it'll be I'll be interested to see how this 91 does react now, given that if it was something bigger and they're just kind of running on lower power, they can't really move, but it looks like he will be up to speed, so we'll see how he shuffles things up there, as these guys are kind of still battling each other right now, but really the man in front is kind of pulling away at the moment. So if Rando can get past his teammate here, will he be able to chase him down?
Well, he's going to look for the pass immediately, and he had gained about 0.2 of a second, Trey, that last lap. So if he keeps going like that, he could have a shot. Jay Randall's going to get by Zachary DeLello down the back straightaway for second place. So the gap last time by Rando to Strickland was 2.3 seconds. We'll have to see what is it going to be this next lap. Will he close in? Will he stay the same? Remember, he had to pass a car this last lap, so it stayed the same, though, when he passed that car, Trey. So we'll have to see. Now that he has clear racetrack, doesn't have to battle someone, can he close in on Lathan Strickland, find a way to get his third win of the season in just 4 races?
That would be unheard of, wouldn't it?
That's yeah, I don't think that's ever happened, and I mean that just shows though that Roush Racing has brought a serious organization this season, and they've brought some really fast race cars. That lap he closed in by nearly 0.2 of a second, so Rando's closing in, and something Strickland has to worry about. If these cars in front of him are going slow enough, he could catch them in his lap traffic. It could slow him down. It's Nathan Baird and Skylar Taylor up the road. That's 41st and 40th place.
We'll have to Joe, I thought we were gonna have a race without lap cars, but just seems like we can't get away from them.
Randall closed in a little bit, but not enough. He would need to do at least 0.2 of a second a lap, if not more than that, to have a shot at Lathan Strickland. Right now he's not doing it. However, if the 48 has some issues over the course of a run, and remember, the 97 does have fresher tires than the 48 as well. He came down 1 lap later than Lathan Strickland. I don't know if it's going to be that big of a benefit, but it is certainly some sort of benefit for Jay Rando over Lathan Strickland. The gap is coming down, but just by hundredths, Trey. He needs tenths a lap. He can't just do it by a few hundredths here and there.
Yeah, if it stays at that distance of closing each lap, he's definitely not going to have enough time. But if he can find some sort of, grip that 48 can't find, then it's going to make all the difference right here. We'll have to see if it's any bigger of a gain this time around compared to last lap. Looking at it, didn't change. Oh, no, it did change. Changed a lot that time.
Yeah, changed by 1/10 of a second. So we'll have to see, can Jay Rando close in enough on Lathan Strickland to have a battle for the win at the end of this race. Further back in the top 10, Zidell moved by Richardson to put Richardson back in 10th place in the 99. Meanwhile, his teammate Tyler Belladonna is moving up on Richardson's back bumper for that 10th position. Richardson has it. Belladonna wants it. He's right there. Stubbs is not going away. In fact, battling with his team owner, Sarah Kirchner, right here for 12th place.
How do you think this battle goes over?
I think Stubbs kind of let her go. Said, you know what, you can have it. You go through. You have the faster race car. You have the fresher tires, and Stubbs is going to surrender a few positions. Obviously, the 91 is a lap car, so that's not a position he lost, but still hanging tough, Trey, inside the top 15 for Stubbs, currently in 14th place. Chris Jericho, the 2001 champion, right behind him as we come around to 10 laps to go. There's the pass for 10th place. Tyler Belladonna, Trey, from 41st place is up in 10th.
That's not surprising. You know why?
Why?
Because it's a Roush.
Yes, it is. And
But he had to pass a Roush to get there.
Yes,
so,
he did.
That's a little surprising.
What's surprising to me is that he was able to get up so quickly, right? This number 17 from 41st place, a track where it's historically hard to pass, even though he is in a Roush car, still could take some time to do it. I know he's only has 10 laps to go and might not get another position on the rest of the field. However, still very, very impressive, especially at a driver who only has 1 career top 10, and so far this season, even though he's in a Roush car, has had an average finish of 29th place. So he's definitely improving on it in this number 17. Let's see if he can try and keep this top 10 position. Honestly, 91, once again, a lap car behind him, but once Wallet passes him, could it bring Kirchner and some of the others into this fight for 10th place? And move Belladonna back? I don't know. At the front, the gap is coming down, but it's just by a hundredth or two here and there. It's not enough to make big inroads as we have less than 10 laps to go. Randall needs something massive to happen for him to have a shot at Lathan Strickland. Great battle for 7th is heating up. Gary has it. Luke Rennie wants it. Battle for 5th is heating up. Riley Spurleytube trying to break up into the top 5, trying to put Jerry Chen back to 6th place. At the front, still Strickland leading over Jay Randall. The gap is 1.6 seconds. That was a lot gained, but that was because Strickland had to pass 2 lap cars. And Trey, the big note there is that he passed them. He didn't have to stay behind them and lose more time than he had to.
Yeah, but now that 97 has to pass him, so is that going to be, you know, more time lost there to the 97? Because if they're too wide or just, you know, giving up a good fight, that it could give Strickland a bigger gap than what he has right now. So it'll be interesting to see. But as you can see in front of Strickland, more lap cars, but this time they're kind of single and they're a little bit more spread out than what he had to deal with.
And I don't know if they're going to be slow enough for him to catch. He might catch the 70 of Angel Gutierrez because he's on a little bit worse tires, but I don't know if he's going to catch Matt Tucker or Nathan Stapleton up the road. I think the only one he has to worry about is Angel Gutierrez, and that's just going to be a single car they could probably easily dispose of. The gap is 1.3 seconds with 5 laps to go, so Randall would need a lot to happen over these next 5 laps, these final 5 laps, to make it work for him. Riley Spurleytube did get by Jerry Chen, so moves Spurleytube up to 5th, Chen back to 6th, Luke Rennie got by Tim Gary for 7th, Gary's back in 8th, Belladonna still holding tough in 10th. 2 Richard Childress cars coming behind him, Sarah Kirchner and Sebastian Kukulon. 4 laps to go for Lathan Strickland. The gap back, 1.14, but now Randall's caught the lap traffic. Gonna have to negotiate Skylar Taylor and then Nathan Baird as well. And for Lathan Strickland, Trey, he's been a driver that's won 1 race a season his entire career. He won in 2000, he won in 2001, he won in 2002, he won in 2003. Every single season, it was 1 win. 1 win, 1 win, 1 win. If he gets one this early in the season here today with 3 laps to go, could he possibly get more than just that 1 victory in this 2004 season?
Yeah, it definitely could, you know, be a lot easier for him, but only time's going to be able to tell. As you can see, this 97 is dealing with lap traffic, going to move to the inside, get the pass done there. But, Joe, I think it might be too little too late for him having any shot at taking this win.
And only 2 laps to go for Jay Randall. He's put up one heck of a fight to try and close in on the number 48 car, but the gap is up to 1.4 seconds because of that lap traffic. He would need something to happen to this 48 car in this final lap and a half for him to have a shot. Strickland is catching Angel Gutierrez, but he might not even have to pass him if he doesn't want to. That's how big of a gap he has over the rest of the field. Here they come through turns 3 and 4. The white flag is in the air. Final lap for Lathan Strickland here at Rockingham, looking for his first win at this racetrack and for the first non-Ford win in the 2004 season. As they work through turns 1 and 2, Strickland has a good gap over the second place man Jay Randall, pulled to the inside of Angel Gutierrez down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Lathan Strickland in the number 48 will get Hendrick's first win of the season. He comes off turn number 4. Strickland wins the Subway 400 in the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series season. And how about Riley Spurleytube, Trey? He nearly got to Jordan Stout there at the end.
Yeah, he was really making a push there. You said that he had a really good track record here, Joe, and I think he just continued that here.
Yes, he did with another top 5 finish, but this man, Lathan Strickland, he hadn't had a good start to the season, nor a good end really to last season besides that win at Homestead. His last 5 races, his average finish has been 21.6. But here today, he knocked us off a win, and he had 4 top 10s at Rockingham. He'll make it a 5th one and a first victory. Lathan Strickland gets it done here today at the Rockingham Speedway. And Trey, you had mentioned, you picked his teammate Jerry Chen to win the race. You said Hendrick needed some sort of spark to kick off their season. Well, Trey, it wasn't Chen that did it, but you had the team right.
Is that a half point?
That could be a half point.
Is that close? Yeah. Let's go. I got a half point.
It's close enough, that's for sure. It's the field comes down pit road. You can see one of the last cars that's going to get to his pit stall is Mathis Wells. With how far back, Trey, he finished from pole position. That's kind of a drive of shame down pit road, knowing, hey, we had the track position. We just couldn't do it there.
Yeah, their car did not like being in traffic, and it just seemed like he did nothing but fall back all day there. So they'll definitely have to go back to the drawing boards and figure out what went wrong.
Well, we'll go take a look at the finishing results from the Subway 400 here at Rockingham. On top of the end, Lathan Strickland, car number 48, gets it done, winning by 1 second over Jay Randall. If Randall had maybe another 10 to 15 laps, he could have made it a race, but there was just not enough time for Randall to close in off of the deficit he had after pit stops. Third place goes to Rando's teammate Zachary DeLello. Their other teammate Jordan Stout in fourth place. That's 3 Roush cars inside the top 5. While they didn't continue their winning record here at Rockingham, they continued their record of having really good, fast top 5 runs. Fifth place to Riley Sprint, who had to come through the field for a good bit and really had one of the faster cars. If the field ever got bunched up because of a caution flag, car number 28 could have been one to watch coming through the field, with Jerry Chen ending up in 6th place. Led a lot of laps. That's definitely his best run of his young Nextel Cup Series career, and could be a sign of maybe a possible win later in the season. Luke Rennie backs up his win at Texas Road with a 7th place finish here today. Tim Gary ends up in 8th, 9th place to Justin Zeidel. Very solid day. Stayed inside the top 10 all day long, and if I'm not mistaken, that's his first top 10 finish in 10 races. So what a day for Zeidel to finally get the monkey off his back and get a good run going for Penske Jasper Racing. And Special Kukulan gets to the top 10 at the end. He passed Sarah Kirchner and Tyler Belladonna for that. And all 5 of the Roush cars top 13s here today, with Richardson 12th, Belladonna 13th, Bibi Ruiz with the top 15, Melling Ultra Motorsports. I mean, and Ruiz as well has an average finish of 10.7 this season. He's up inside the top 10 in points. Bibi Ruiz could be one to watch for, maybe an underdog to try and be up there near the championship fight this season. Chris Jericho, top 15, not the best of days, but a very solid day for Jericho. Evan Hunter, Jude Martinelli, Conrad Evans, Justin Atkins came from the back of the field after his inspection issues. Mitchell Collins, Jacob Miller down below 20th. Mathis Wells ends up 22nd. Staub's kind of faded at the end, but still 23rd. Got some great exposure time for his sponsors out there in his team. He was running inside the top 10, but ends up in 23rd. Max Davis had to battle back after falling back. He's in 25th. You can see 2 of the Hendrick cars down here. Matthew Burnett, Keegan Thompson, they're, 2 teammates ran inside the top 5, top 10 all day. Burnett Thompson just never had it. They qualified poorly. They didn't really race all that well. 2 of these DEI, in fact, all the DEI cars didn't really race well. Wilson 28th, Eli Bright 29th, Hunter Reed down here 30th. There's Hernandez, who tried the big overcut, 31st, all the way down, and cars lapped down like Angel Gutierrez, Nathan Baird, and Skylar Taylor. Also, Ahmed Walid was 6 laps down with his issue in the 91 car, and that's how it went here today at Rockingham. We take a look at the points after just 4 races, and Trey J. Rendo lost that points lead. He's going to gain points back with his 2nd place result. Well, Evan Hunter didn't have the best of days, so I mean these points right now, they're still flipping around as it's still early in the season, but we know Jay Randall, Trey, 2 wins, a 2nd place, a D enough, so maybe Jay Randall is, even though he's not all that consistent, he still has the explosiveness to try and win this championship this season.
Yeah, again, if there's someone to keep your eye on, it's definitely him. I mean, so far he started out strong, but wouldn't be the first time we've seen someone start out strong and slowly kind of die off that momentum here throughout the season. But we'll just have to we'll have to see how they develop.
Well, we talked about how this racetrack was Roush's house, that they've won a lot of races in the past few seasons. Well, a Hendrick car ended up winning it. Well, here the next race out, Hendrick's house. We're going racing at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Bass Pro Shops MBNA 400, a racetrack where Hendrick Motorsports has dominated since the reconfiguration. They won with Jay Rando on the first time out. Then they won with Brett Sierra. Then they won with Keegan Thompson. So can Hendrick make it 4 Atlanta wins in a row next race? Or will maybe Roush Racing stop it like Hendrick stopped their dominance here at Rockingham today? We'll have to see in a week's time on JRTV how it goes at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. For Trey Bardo and Joe Rakowski, so long from the Rockingham Speedway. Congratulations to Lathan Strickland on his first win of the 2004 season with the victory here at the Rockingham Speedway.